Hi everyone, and welcome to the Tier 1 Grand Final of FundaesLiga Quiz League Season 3. We have 4 great participants who have battled it out for 11 weeks, and now we're at the summit to see who will take the crown for the third season. Before we do, it's more important to thank all the other players who have made this league a resounding success. We had 392 players, we had over 850 plus questions, and we had 1,000 plus matches this season. It's a great achievement for an organization like us to attract so many players, and we thank all of you for being able to make that a success for us. Without wasting much time, let's welcome our reader for the finale this season. It's our question writer, mentor, and so on, Mr. Abhinav Dasgupta. Abhinav, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon if you're elsewhere around the world, and welcome to the Tier 1 Grand Finale of Season 3 of the FundaesLiga Quiz League. We have 4 of the best quizzers in the world who we've sort of selected through a grueling round of over, I think, 11 game weeks and 850 plus questions. Before we begin the final, a few words to acknowledge everyone who has made FLQL a success, and also to acknowledge our tier champions as we head on to the grand finale. In tier 24, we have Vinoo Hariharan, who's our tier champion, Vinayak Singh Bhadoria in tier 23, Parikshit Pegu in 22, Naman Jain in 21, Nirmalya Biswas, tier 20, Sabyasachi Rawat in tier 19, Akshay Sharma, tier 18, Shreyashi Dastidar, tier 17, Jun Javier in tier 16, Gigi George, 15, Harman Singh in 14, Rishiraj Shanmuganandan in tier 13, Alok Mohan in tier 12, Jimmy Lee in tier 11, Sapan Mehta, tier 10, Raghubir Mukamala in tier 9. Interestingly, this is not the last match we play, so the tier 8 final is still to be played. I think it will be scheduled tomorrow. So yeah, don't discuss answers just yet. We'll decide a tier 8 champion tomorrow. Ramesh Atriya wins tier 7, Pranjal Agarwal tier 6, Prakhar Gupta wins tier 5, Nikhil Soneja, last season's tier 2 champion, wins tier 4. This time Dinesh Prithivasan wins tier 3. Samant Subramanian is our tier 2 champion this season. Who will it be in tier 1? We'll find out in the next hour or so. And also to acknowledge some of our topic champions. So we divide our quiz into 8 broad subjects: culture, entertainment, science, sports, history, lifestyle, media, and world. In culture, Movin Miranda is our topic champion with 25 correct answers, followed by Dinesh Prithivasan and Gigi George. Entertainment, Varun Rajiv with 24. Santosh Swaminathan and Ananya Bhaskar take the second and third spots. In science, Pat Gibson, who's here for the tier 1 final, has 25, followed by Tejasvi Udupa and Roderick Cromer. In sports, a staggering 28 by Prithvish Datta, followed by Varun Parthasarathi with 27 and Soheb Naseem with 26. History, Arun Hedagange with 26, followed by Apratim Mukhopadhyay, and the tie for third place between Chandrakant Nair and Sandeep Sen. Lifestyle, Pat Gibson wins once again with 25. Jayakanthan, also in our tier 1 finals, has 23, and Nikhil Sonde has 22. In media, Charlie Fritz wins with 25, followed by Anushtup Datta and Vivek Tejuja tied on 23. And finally, in the world category, Pat Gibson, that's his third topic win with 22, followed by Sachin Deshpande with 21, and Abhimanyu Bharade, Vikram Shah, and Jayakanthan finished third with 20. So those are our topic champions. So lots and lots of diversity in the kinds of topics, and also in the demographics of quizzes who've sort of triumphed over the odds. But this season of over 1,000 matches would not have been possible without the stellar contribution of all of these people that you see on this slide. Between these top 10 readers, a staggering 455 games, that's like almost half of the games played through the season, have been read by all of these wonderful contributors to FLQL. Please give a round of applause to Rahul Buddhavarapu, Rishabh Gogoi, Shobhaditya Basu, Sander Vander Hayden, Shankha Ghosh Dastidar, Sanveer Singh Puri, Shubhajit Chakraborty, Shreyashi Dastidar, Vikas Plakot, Abhimanyu Bharade, and Shivani Rakesh. At some stage, we might do a connect question on who are the two people who feature in both the list of question setters as well as the top 10 readers. So Sander and Vikas would sort of make that list. So well done, both of you. Also, before we move on, just wanted to acknowledge, finally, a bit of all of us taking, taking a collective bow. That's all of us who brought FLQL to you, the question writers, who've put together over 850 questions for you in FLQL. It's an honor, a privilege to be part of a team that comprises Amrit Pritam Chetia, Ananya Upadhyaya, Hari Parameshwaran, Nitish Khadia, Rahul Kotalgi, Sander Vanderheden, Vikas Plakot, Sresht Shah, Arjyopriya Ganguly, Rahul. Sresht, if you could pause that for a moment. Sorry. So before we begin, would just like to acknowledge all my fellow question setters. It's been an honor, a privilege to bring FLQL to our wonderful participants with all of you. Thank you very much, Amrit Pritam Chetia, Ananya Upadhyaya, Arjyopriya Ganguly, Hari Parameshwaran, Nitish Khadia, Rahul Kotalgi, Sander Vanderheden, Sresht Shah, and Vikas Plakot. I am the 10th in this wonderful, wonderful set that I find myself so delighted to be in. Thank you very much, all of you. And now a few notes, a bit of a commercial break before we begin. Don't forget to sign up for Flames FLQL's visual-based Mimir Quiz League, which begins on the 11th of April in a couple of weeks from now. Flames is this very nice acronym for food, fashion, film, literature, arts, music, entertainment, and sports. Do sign up. The link for the sign-up link for Flames is in the video description that you see. Do sign up for that. It'll be just as good as what you've seen over the last few weeks. There's a demo friendly that's already up on YouTube. Jayanti, Piyush, Venki, and Matthew are our players, and I think Vikas has been the reader for that. Do check that out. You'll kind of get an idea of the kind of questions that will be up. So do take a look at that. A quick word also for those of you in Mumbai and some of you who would love to travel to this wonderful city I am in at the moment. We at the Bombay Quiz Club that I also represent, we're proud to present the 10th Mumbai Quiz Festival on the 23rd and 24th of April at the wonderful Nehru Center in Worli. We have 6 quizzes over 2 days by some of the best quizzers and quizmasters you've seen in Mumbai. Quizzes on sports, on entertainment, on youth affairs, and of course the flagship Bombay Open quiz. And there are a few written quizzes we also have, including one that's a Wordle themed written quiz for teams of 2. Some of the QM names are among the well-known quiz masters in Mumbai and all over the country. And so without further ado, let's meet our Tier 1 finalists. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Vinoo Sanjay, player 1 from Mumbai in India. Vinoo has the most wins, and ranked 4 among the most wins, ranked 17 in terms of league table points, ranked 12 among total correct answers, and 27 on bonus attempt success rate. Vinoo, welcome to the Tier 1 finals of the FLQL, your 3rd final. Incredible performance. Vinoo, 3rd time lucky?
Yeah, I hope so. But with this field, I think it's better to be realistic.
Better to be realistic, says Vinoo. Interestingly, Vinoo did win his quarterfinal, which I think had at least one other Tier 1 finalist. So Vinoo, all the very best for the finals. Please also welcome Ujjwal from Eindhoven in the Netherlands. Ranked 4 in terms of most wins as well, and ranked 3 on league table points, quite incredible. Ranked 12 on total correct answers. Ujjwal, your first time in the finals. How does it feel? How do you fancy your chances against the best in the tournament?
Well, I mean, as Vinoo said, given this field, it's very, very tough, but it all depends on how the questions fall. So I think a good game is to be expected. So we'll see how it goes.
Perfect. Great, Ujjwal. All the very best to you. Let's also welcome our defending champion from season 2, Jayakanthan from Chennai. Jayakanthan, or JK as he is affectionately known in the circuit, is ranked 14 on most wins, ranked 7 on league table points, and 23rd on bonus attempt success rate. But JK knows, how to win where it matters. Incredible performances in the quarter and semi-final of Tier 1. JK, welcome to the finals. You've defended so many titles in business general quizzes over the years. How easy or difficult do you think defending this one's going to be?
Yeah, I don't have any hopes of defending this at all, but let's see.
Fantastic, fantastic. All the very best, Jayakanthan. And we have a player 4, Pat Gibson. Pat Gibson from Wigan, England, our inaugural FLQL champion in season 1. Pat, warm welcome to the finals. Rank 1 on most wins. It's pretty much rank 1 everywhere. League table points, most stones, total correct answers. Ranked 7th on bonus attempt success rate. Pat, you've quizzed all over the world. You're one of the legends really of our sport. And how do you feel the standard of this tournament, the standard of competition you've seen from all over the world, from India in particular, the level of questions? How has your experience been? Tell us a little.
I think the questions have been great, really enjoyable. It's quite difficult. You've got to get through 11 successive games to get to this final. So I'm very relieved to have managed to get here. And I expect a very, very tough game.
A very tough game is what we all expect. Thank you very much, Pat, and all the very best to you as well. Those are our 4 finalists. And without further ado, let's get on with the final. All right, then, gentlemen, let's play the Tier 1 final of Season 3 of the FundaesLiga Quiz League. Vinoo Sanjay on seat 1, Ujjwal Dev on 2, Jayakanthan on 3, and Pat Gibson on 4. Vinoo, we start with your question. Which one? Sorry. All right, Vinoo on seat 1. Here's your first question coming up. First question of the Tier 1 final out here. In 1968, the Beatles and other notables arrived in Rishikesh to take part in a 3-month transcendental meditation course led by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. This marked one of their most prolific songwriting periods with nearly 40 compositions. Dear Prudence was written by John Lennon to coax which actress's sister out of meditating obsessively in her room to look around, and recorded using a finger-picking technique he learned from the singer Donovan. Just need the name of the actress, not the sister. Ten seconds.
No. Pass.
We know pass this first question. Ujjwal?
Pass.
JK?
This is Pharaoh.
Mia Farrow is absolutely correct. Well done. Jayakanthan opens his accounts. This is Mia Farrow, best known for Rosemary's Baby and a bunch of films. So Jayakanthan gets a steal to get on to 1. Vinoo, here's your second question. One of the most prominent figures of the subgenre of speculative fiction, calling itself the New Weird, which British writer and illustrator created the fictional world of Basslag, where thaumaturgy or magic and steampunk, as opposed to silk punk, perhaps, technology coexist, and which is home to several intelligent races. The highly acclaimed Perdido Street Station, The Scar, and Iron Council constitute his Basslag trilogy of novels. Need the name of the author. 10 seconds.
Raymond,
Not correct. Ujjwal?
More?
Not more either. Pat?
Oh.
China, Meville.
China Meville.
China,
Absolutely.
nice.
This is
Good
China
answer.
Meville. Great answer there by Pat. China Meville, one of the most prominent figures in what I think he himself calls the new weird. China Meville it is. And Ujjwal, here are your first two directs. The Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event 66 million years ago is thought to have caused the extinction of 75% of plant and animal species, including all non-avian dinosaurs. At what location, taking its name from the Yucatec Mayan for the tail of the devil, can the impact crater of the asteroid that caused this event be found?
Chicxulub?
Chicxulub is absolutely correct. That's where the impact of the asteroid that caused this event can still be seen. Chicxulub is absolutely correct. That gets Ujjwal onto one as well. Your second question, Ujjwal, the explorer that discovered the continent of Antarctica did so on which ship? The ship shares its name with, or even possibly named, a pioneering space program from the explorer's country. Need the name of the ship. And seconds.
I don't know. Mercury?
It's not correct. Vinoo?
Vostok.
Vostok is absolutely correct, and that gets Vinoo onto one as well. This is Vostok, the name of Fabian Bellingshausen's ship, and of course the Vostok space program put Yuri Gagarin, Valentina Tereshkova, and a lot of others into space. This is actually the reason you have a Lake Vostok in Antarctica. This is the name of Bellingshausen's ship. All right, one apiece. Jayakanthan, your first question. Grad is an old Slavic word meaning town, city, or fortified settlement. One of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, which capital is currently the largest city with Grad in its name, though it is slightly different in English? The city is also home to the Nikola Tesla Museum.
This is Belgrade.
Belgrade, the capital of Serbia, formerly Yugoslavia, absolutely correct. Belgrade or Beograd, as it is known. That's one more point to Jayakanthan. Your next question coming up. The 53 stations of the Tokaido is a series of 53 and two more ukiyo-e woodcut prints created by Utagawa Hiroshige after his first travel along the Tokaido or Eastern Sea route in 1832. The 53rd and last of the 53 stations in the Tokaido series is located in the city of Otsu in the Shiga prefecture. The print depicts the main street that slopes down to which ancient water body, the largest freshwater lake in Japan. Note that its name derives from a Japanese musical instrument that the lake resembles in shape.
Shimichen.
Not the Shimichen, or that probably meant, okay. Pat?
Biwa.
Biwa is absolutely correct. This is the Biwa. The interesting trivia here is that Biwa actually originates from Veena, which is this instrument that you would associate with the goddess Saraswati in India. The goddess that plays the Biwa in Shinto myth is Benzaiten, who, like Saraswati, is the goddess of learning as well. That's Biwa. Fantastic answer there by Pat, who moves on to 2. And question now to Pat, your 2 directs. According to food delivery apps Swiggy and Zomato in their annual reports, Akash, what food item was the most commonly ordered dish in all of India for the last 4 years? Pandemic or no pandemic, that's what Indians love to eat, it seems.
Kulfi?
Sorry, I didn't get that, Pat.
Kulfi?
Not Kulfi. No, not Kulfi. Sorry about that. Vinoo?
Biryani.
Sorry, Vinoo, could you come again?
Biryani.
Biryani is absolutely correct.
Nice, good answer.
Biryani is what it seems most Indians like. Vinoo, well done. Hopefully you've ordered yourself quite a few in the last 4 years. That's one good point to Vinoo. Pat, your next question. Though credited as the narrator, his voiceover recitations of a series of Reader's Digest articles in which various human organs are written about in first-person narratives have led some viewers to label him as Jack. Which movie is this, wherein neither can he talk about the things he does and nor can we call him by his name? Ten seconds.
I am John.
Not correct there. Ujjwal?
Pass.
JK?
Fight Club.
Fight Club
Oh.
is absolutely correct. You
Oh.
can't talk about the Fight Club. So Jack is the character of Edward Norton in the Fight Club. Good 1 point there to Jayakanthan, who moves to 3 with that. All right, that brings us to the end of round 1. We move to round 2 with Vinoo. Vinoo, the Hakluyt Society, a London-based society founded in 1846 that publishes primary records of historic voyages, features which ship on its logo? This ship, a carrack, was named after a church and not after any particular woman, and was the only ship from its group of 5 to complete its mission. Ten seconds.
Victoria.
Victoria is absolutely right, Vinoo. Well done. Victoria was the name of Ferdinand Magellan's ship. It's the ship that Juan Sebastian Elcano commanded finally to its completion of the circumnavigation of the world after Magellan himself was killed in the Philippines. It's a great answer, Vinoo. This is Victoria, the ship. Your next question. This is an annual invitational international men's field hockey tournament held in Malaysia. It began in 1983 as a biennial contest, and the tournament became an annual event after 1998 following its growth and popularity. The tournament was named after which 9th king of Malaysia who was an avid fan of field hockey?
Sultan Azlan Shah.
This is the Sultan Azlan Shah Invitational Hockey Tournament. Terrific answer there by Vinoo, taking him on to 4. Well done. Ujjwal, your question coming up. Since 1710, except for a few visits to the European continent, George Frederick Handel spent the rest of his life in England, a time of creative outpouring. In 1727, shortly before the death of George I, Handel became a British subject and composed 4 large-scale anthems for the coronation of George II. If the king shall rejoice, my heart is inditing, and let thy hand be strengthened are 3 of these. What is the 4th piece sung prior to the anointing of the sovereign at the coronation of every British monarch since? Of course, most of us are familiar with Tony Britton's rearrangement of this piece from 1992.
Music for the Royal Fireworks?
Not the Royal Fireworks. Jayakanthan?
This is Zadok the Priest.
Zadok the Priest, which Tony Britton rearranged to create the anthem of the UEFA Champions League. That's the context in which we know Zadok the Priest, or well, the context in which most of us know Zadok the Priest, one of the most well-known of Handel's compositions today. Ujjwal, your next question. Launched on 16th October 2021 from Cape Canaveral, what is the popular name of Discovery Mission 13, a space probe on a 12-year journey for flyby missions across several asteroids? This name was chosen because a study of the Jupiter Trojans could reveal the fossils of planet formation, and thus it was appropriate to name it after a famous fossil, which in turn was named after a 1967 song. Seconds, Ujjwal.
Lucy?
Lucy is absolutely correct. This is Lucy the fossil, gets its name from Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. That's a good 1 point there to Ujjwal. And Jayakanthan, your question's coming up. In the 2022 edition of the QS World University Rankings, which city has the highest ranking university that is not in the US or the UK? Ranked at number 8, this institute had Albert Einstein and Wolfgang Pauli as professors and Wilhelm Röntgen as a graduate.
Is this Zurich?
Seconds. Zurich is correct,
Oh,
Jayakanthan.
okay.
Well done.
Oh.
This is ETH Zurich. Fabulous answer there. And that's 3 of the most well-known Nobel laureates associated with the university. Your next question. Which American and not Middle Eastern entrepreneur pled guilty in 1999 to fraud and associated felonies in connection with stock market manipulation and operating a boiler room as part of a penny stock scam? After his release, he attained newfound fame as an author and motivational speaker, with his 2007 memoir coming to the attention of the world thanks to its 2013 film adaptation by Martin Scorsese.
Must be Jordan Belfort.
Jordan Belfort, known for The Wolf of Wall Street, is absolutely correct. American, not Middle Eastern. That's Jordan Belfort. And Pat, your 2 questions coming up. The Tesla Roadster that was launched into space in 2018 is not just the first roadworthy vehicle in space, it is also an everlasting space library. Nova Spivak, founder of the knowledge-preserving non-profit Arch Mission Foundation, used 5D optical storage in quads to store the books of which groundbreaking science fiction trilogy published between 1951 and 1953.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Not the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Ujjwal?
Asimov's Foundation?
This is the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov, 51 to 53. Good answer there by Ujjwal. Gets a nice steal there, moving on to 3. All right, Pat, your next question. In 1960 at the Rome Olympics, competing as Crown Prince, this man won a gold medal in the Dragon class sailing event. He was king of Greece from 1964 till the abolition of the monarchy in 1973, which is neat, his name.
Constantine.
Constantine is correct. Constantine II of Greece. Is actually a participant in the Olympics as the crown prince before his ascension to the Kingdom of Greece. All right, that completes 2 rounds. Jayakanthan in an early lead with 6, Vinoo on 4, and Ujjwal and Pat on 3. Long way to go though. Vinoo, here's your question. Art about climate change is becoming increasingly common in museums and galleries, but some artists are moving outside and sharing their work in public spaces to reach a broader audience. Jason DeCaires Taylor is famous for his site-specific permanent sculptures and recently opened his Museum of Underwater Sculpture in Ayia Napa, Cyprus to draw attention and even offer a solution to the heavy overfishing in the Mediterranean Sea by showcasing artwork as a part of the landscape rather than merely being placed within it. Now, if we tell you that the sculptures are made from pH-neutral materials, tell us what restorative function are these sculptures supposed to serve?
Rejuvenate or help restore coral reefs.
Perfect, good enough. I'll give it to you. I think we're just looking for reefs for aquatic creatures, but you mentioned coral reefs, so good enough, Vinoo, well done. That's a good 1 point to you. Your next question coming up. The first performance of what at the Foundling Hospital, a London charitable institution of which Handel had been a director since 1740, took place in April 1750, thereafter becoming an annual event. This English language oratorio is anointed with the iconic Hallelujah chorus. And seconds.
The fireworks.
Not the fireworks, Ujjwal.
Messiah?
This is the Messiah. Handel's Messiah. Messiah, by the way, means the anointed one, hence the use of the word anointed with the iconic Hallelujah chorus. This is Handel's Messiah. Great answer there by Ujjwal. Also moves on to 4. And here are your 2 directs, Ujjwal. Good chance to sort of catch up. In the early 2000s, Forbes published a list of the 20 most important tools ever. Second in the list of 20, the oldest versions of this tool were discovered on the island of Salamis and were used by the Babylonians. Popular all over the world, the Japanese call them the soroban, the Chinese call it the sueban, and the Russians call it the shkoti. Richard Feynman wrote about a Japanese expert of this tool and how the expert almost always won at addition. Which tool are we talking about?
And abacus.
Abacus is absolutely correct, Ujjwal. Well done. This is the abacus. Takes you on to 5 as well. And your next question, a September 1921 piece in the Times refers to the Cornish Riviera Express as the longest non-stop run in the world at 226.5 miles. This train connected London to which port city that would lend its name to a historic colony in a different continent?
Plymouth.
Plymouth is absolutely correct. The Plymouth colony was, of course, started by the Pilgrim Fathers in the New World. The Cornish Riviera Express connected London to Plymouth. That's a good 2 points from your directs, Ujjwal. You go on to 6 as well. Jayakanthan, your 2 directs coming up. The name Belafonte of a fictional ship in a movie starring Bill Murray was an oblique reference to which famous ship used by an explorer and conservationist? The explorer's ship was famously leased by him for a princely sum of 1 franc per year and featured in multiple documentaries made by this explorer. Need the name of the ship.
This should be the Calypso by Calypso, right?
Calypso it is.
Yeah.
Well done. Do you remember whose it was? Okay, let me
Cousteau.
Cousteau.
That's
Yeah,
right. The
yeah.
Calypso by Jacques-Yves Cousteau. You'll see that in The Silent World and a bunch of other documentaries. The movie we're talking about is called The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou by Wes Anderson. And Belafonte, of course, is a lovely reference to the fact that Harry Belafonte is arguably the most famous Calypso performer of all time. So that's why I decided to name it Belafonte. Well done, Jayakanthan. You move to 7 as well. Probably inspired by the actions of the former British Major Charles Ingram in a different sport, what method did the Germans Michael Elinescu and Enchorado adopt to communicate in a bridge championship in 2013? A method that got them banned from playing for 10 years and a lifetime ban from playing as a team together. So there's a certain methods that, like, what did they, how did they communicate? I guess is the question.
Using coughing as a code?
Using coughing as a code is absolutely correct. Great answer there by Jayakanthan. I think Ingram did that in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, is it? Yeah. Using coughing as a way to communicate, quite incredible. Hope none of you is resorting to that here. All right. Pat, your 2 questions coming up. The 11th of the 53 stations in the Tokaido series is located in which present-day city of the same name in the Shizuoka prefecture? The name might be familiar thanks to a controversial literary figure who committed seppuku.
Mishima?
Mishima is correct. Yukio Mishima, of course, being the literary figure who committed seppuku on 25th November 1970. An excellent writer, Spring Snow being among his very best. Pat, your second question. In the continuing story of Bungalow Bill, Lennon uses an allusion to Buffalo Bill to mock a fellow participant at the course who would go out hunting and then return to his bungalow in Rishikesh to learn peacefulness. This is the only Beatles track to feature lead vocals by someone other than the foursome. The question is, which pacifist artists' vocals were these?
Yoko Ono?
Yes, we're talking about Beatles, and if you need one more vocalist, who do you go with? Yoko Ono is absolutely correct. Pat, that's 2 direct to you, and you move to 5 as well. That completes 3 rounds. 5, 6, 8, 5 is where we are, and we move to Vinoo for round 4. Vinoo, the Permian Triassic extinction event was the Earth's largest extinction event, killing 57% of all extant biological families. This event marked the extinction of which marine creatures? Now commonly found as fossils, they can be distinctly identified by the 3 vertical lobes that give these arthropods their name.
Trilobites.
Trilobites, quickly dispatched by Vinoo. Well done. Your next question. The suffix grad, as we know, is used in varied forms. In an episode of epic rap battles of history, Ivan the Terrible tells Alexander the Great, so don't even try to approach the god or you'll get a huge sack like dash. Fill in the blanks with a city, literally new city, that faced a terrible massacre or sack in 1570, launched by Ivan, supposedly to suppress secession.
Novgorod.
Novgorod is the perfect answer. New city, Novgorod, cognate with grad over there. And that gets Vinoo a quick 2 points, take him to 7 as well. All right, Ujjwal, your questions. Pandanus odorifer is the aromatic monocot species of plant in the family Pandanaceae, native to Polynesia, Australia, Andaman Islands, and the Philippines. Its fragrant flowers provide the base for an aromatic extract, often mistakenly called rose water due to its pleasant smell. This extract is used heavily in Indian biryanis, most famously in Kolkata and Bangalore versions. What is this extract called, or what is the common name of the plant that produces the extract? Ten seconds.
I don't know. I'll try cuss.
Not cuss. Pat?
Pass.
Vinoo?
Pass.
JK?
Pass.
All right, this is the first question that's gone unanswered. How good is that for a tier 1 final? So this is the Kiora water, or the plant being the fragrance screw pine, called the umbrella tree or screw tree. Kiora water is what we were looking for. Tough on there, sorry. First unanswered question of this tier 1 final. Ujjwal, born Elaine Potter Richardson in St. John's, Antigua, and not in a different Caribbean nation where the rum is fine any time of the year, which author is known for her novels Annie, John, and Lucy, both featuring young girls from the West Indies and being loosely autobiographical in nature? And seconds.
Reese?
Not Belize. Pat?
Jamaica Kincaid?
Jamaica Kincaid was not from Jamaica, but actually from Antigua. Jamaica, Jamaica farewells. A little bit more of Belafonte coming up. The rum is fine any time of year. Pat gets Jamaica Kincaid. Perfect answer. Annie, John, and Lucy. Jayakanthan, your next question. After attending a lecture by Mahesh Yogi about a son of the Mother Nature, McCartney wrote Mother Nature's Son, which was selected for the White Album. McCartney was also inspired by the song Nature Boy, recorded by which American jazz singer? This singer was the first African-American man to host an American television series, one named after him, no less. And seconds?
Is this Duke Ellington?
Not Duke Ellington. Vinoo?
Louis Armstrong.
Not Louis Armstrong. Pat?
Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole is the perfect answer. This is Nat King Cole, Nature Boy. For those of you who haven't watched the Andy Warhol Diaries, do watch it. That's where the opening credits feature Nature Boy by Nat King Cole. Great answer there by Pat. And JK, your next question coming up. One possible cause of an extinction event is an eruption from a supervolcano, a volcano that has had an eruption with a volcanic explosivity index of 8. The most recent such eruption happened around 75,000 years ago on which island, the 6th largest in the world. In the 1990s, a now debunked theory claimed that only 3 to 10,000 humans survived this event. Need the name of the island. And seconds?
I'll say Borneo.
Not Borneo. Vinoo?
Pass.
Ujjwal?
I'll pass.
Pat?
Sumatra.
Sumatra, not Borneo. This is Sumatra.
Oh.
Absolutely correct. That's a lovely steal there by Pat. This is the island of Sumatra. All right, and Pat, here are your 2 directs. Good chance to move to double figures. On the Forbes list was this tool, the oldest of which was discovered by Louis Leakey in the Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania. Created by early hominins 2.6 million years ago by chipping stones, varieties used today include a Rampuri and a Jacob's ladder. Which tool are we talking about?
A blade, a knife.
Knife is fine. That's what we were looking for. This is a knife. Great answer there.
Nice.
Takes you on.
And without the benefit of the Rampuri clue as well. So that's excellent.
Yeah, I would have given for dagger too, in fact, Rampuri dagger. All right, Pat, your next question. The Calais-Mediterranean Express, a night express train that ran between Calais and the French Riviera between 1886 and 2003, was given what nickname? Not because it would take you to the Côte d'Azur, but because of the distinct color of its sleeping cars.
Blue train.
This is the blue train. Well done, Pat. That takes you to double figures. And we have come to the halfway stage now. Pat on 10, Jayakanthan is on 8, Vinoo on 7, and Ujjwal on 6. 4 rounds to go, and let's see whether there's any change in the outcome. Round 5, Vinoo. In the 2022 edition of the QS World University Rankings, which North American university is ranked number 27? The university bears the name of James Dash, a Scottish merchant who paid for it in 1813. Justin Trudeau studied here, and Ernest Rutherford discovered the atomic nucleus and conducted his Nobel Prize-winning research on radioactivity while working as a professor at this university.
McGill.
McGill University, often rated as the best university in Canada, is what we're talking about. James McGill being the founder. Good 1 point to Vinoo. Your next question. In the brief epilogue, two of the many titular characters introduce each other as Davis and McCardle, leaving the other key characters unnamed. In fact, the original teleplay by Reginald Rose left every one of them unnamed. Which movie with a perfect rating on Rotten Tomatoes is this? And seconds, Vinoo?
Sleuth?
Not Loot. Ujjwal?
12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men. So not a Jane Fonda, but a Henry Fonda movie. This is 12 Angry Men, 1957, Sidney Lumet, still widely popular. Ujjwal, it's a nice steal. Here are your two directs. An 18-hole course was built atop a former industrial site in Brooklyn, designed using repurposed materials and native plant species. While visitors play a round of golf, they're immersed in a different scene related to climate change at each of the holes. What is the two-word title of this installation? A clever activist pun on a smooth area of short grass surrounding a hole, either as part of a golf course or as a separate area for hitting a golf ball. And seconds?
I mean, is it just green golf? The green course?
No. Jayakanthan?
Pass.
Vinoo?
Pass.
Pat?
Pass.
All right, that's the second question that goes unanswered. Coincidentally, both to Ujjwal, sorry. This is putting green, right? The term we were looking for is putting green. And the part, of course, you're putting green, perhaps, a little bit of climate change sort of activism there as well. So this is called the putting green, clever activist pun. Ujjwal, your next question coming up. Sports Illustrated called the pentathlete Boris Onyshchenko the greatest Olympic cheat for using an illegally modified version of his equipment to register a palpable hit without touching anything during the 1976 Olympics. What specific event did Onyshchenko represent the USSR in? The Sports Illustrated article was alliteratively titled The Curious Case of the Electrified Dash.
I see. Epee.
Epee is absolutely right. The Curious Case of the Electrified Epee. Boris Onyshchenko ended up being called Disonyshchenko as well after that fiasco. So yeah, he was a fencer. He used to specialize in the epee. Good answer there by Ujjwal. Moving on now to Jayakanthan in round 5. The Urdu word for a stock or broth lends its name to what rice dish, a variation of the Indian biryani that is most popular in Kashmir? And seconds?
Nihari?
Not Nihari, Vinoo.
Vazwan?
Not Vazwan. Nice guess. Kashmir as well. Ujjwal?
I'll pass.
Pat?
Pass.
All right, that passes as well. The word we were looking for is yakhni, right? Yakhni is the stock or rice dish, of course, is the yakhni pulao.
I should have got that.
Right, that's the Kashmir sort of variation of the Indian biryani. So that passes as well.
I passed that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I would like to, but no. All right, Jayakanthan. At the end of this Nicolas Winding Refn movie, we are barely closer to knowing the protagonist anymore than we did during the 1980s inspired opening credits. While we learn he's a mechanic, a stuntman, and a dash, and that he can definitely woo Kerry Mulligan, we don't know how to address him. Which movie are we talking about?
Is it Drive?
This is Drive. We're referring to Ryan Gosling's character, who's a driver in addition to being a mechanic and a stuntman. Good answer there, Jayakanthan. And we move now to Pat. It's the opportunity to extend his lead. So after the Queen's health deteriorated, I think this is Queen Anne, by September 1714, Britain had a new monarch, George Louis, Elector of Hanover, who became King George I of England, initiating the Royal House of Hanover. In the summer of 1717, the king requested a concert on the River Thames, and Handel was commissioned to write what for wind and strings, with members of the court and musicians accommodated in barges.
Water music.
Water music, absolutely correct. Concert on the River Thames for wind and strings. That's water music by G.F. Handel. Great answer by Pat. Your next question. Podgorica is the capital and largest city of Montenegro. It was known as something Grad between 1946 and 1992 to honor which statesman? Although among the founders of Cominform, a supranational alliance of communist parties under the Soviet Union, he was the only leader in Stalin's time to leave the alliance to begin his country's market socialism program.
Tito.
Tito, Joseph Broz Tito. So Titograd was the earlier name of Podgorica. Joseph Broz Tito, Marshal of Yugoslavia, instrumental in starting the non-aligned movement with the likes of Jawaharlal Nehru, Gamal Abdel Nasser, and a few others. This is Joseph Broz Tito. Brings us to the end of round 5. Pat with a healthy lead of 12 above Jayakanthan with 9, Ujjwal and Vinoo with 8. But 3 rounds still to go. Vinoo, your next question coming up. 10th on the Forbes list of 20 most important tools, the earliest versions of this tool were manufactured from flint, stone, seashells, or shark teeth. Per Greek legend, Talos, the nephew of Daedalus, made the first of these from the spine of fish. Today, this tool is used by butchers, doctors, and woodworkers, among others, and one variant is also used as a musical instrument. Which tool are we talking about?
Saw.
Saw is absolutely correct. Vinoo, well done. Your next question. After US and the Soviet Union, Japan was the 3rd country to launch a deep space probe. Sakigake was launched on January 7, 1975, and it carried out a flyby of Halley's Comet on March 11, 1986. What is the meaning of the word Sakigake that in English shares its name with a series of US lunar and planetary space probe programs? Now, before you answer this, Vinoo, I'll tell you that you may have certain synonyms for that word, but the only answer we'll accept is the specific word that shares its name with the US lunar and planetary programs, right? So synonyms won't be accepted. And seconds?
Voyager.
Not Voyager. Jayakanthan?
Pass.
Ujjwal?
Pass.
Pat?
Pass.
Okay, passed by everyone. The answer we were looking for was Pioneer, right? So Pioneer, first timer. So it was their first deep space probe, right? And hence Sakigake, sorry, meaning pioneer over there. So that's the 4th question that goes unanswered. Ujjwal, your first question coming up in round 6. The 3rd of the 53 stations in the Tokaido series is situated in the city of Yokohama, in which prefecture of Japan that has a greater claim to fame in the world of art? This prefecture is the second most populous in Japan after Tokyo. And seconds?
Chiba?
Not Chiba.
Kanagawa.
Kanagawa is absolutely correct. The reference being to the Great Wave of Kanagawa by Hiroshige's most famous contemporary, Hokusai. This is the Kanagawa prefecture where Yokohama is situated. Good steal there by Jayakanthan, who also moves to 10 now. Ujjwal, your next question. In 2000, this future princess of Monaco swam for South Africa in the Olympics. She was a member of the country's women's 4 x 100-meter medley team, which ended up finishing 5th. Who was this future wife of Prince Albert of Monaco? And seconds?
Princess Charlene.
Princess Charlene, absolutely, or Charlene Wittstock, as she was known before she got married to Prince Albert of Monaco. Super answer there, Ujjwal. Takes you on to 9. And Jayakanthan, up next for you. In 1749, Handel prepared the highly acclaimed music for the royal fireworks to accompany the festivities at Green Park in celebration of which treaty, ending the War of the Austrian Succession? Not new to treaties, the city has had several important ones signed in 812, 1668, and as recently as 2019. And seconds? Didn't answer, Jayakanthan?
York.
Not correct. Moving to Vinoo.
Paris.
Not the Treaty of Paris. Ujjwal?
I'll pass.
Pat?
Aix-la-Chapelle.
This is the Treaty of
Aix-la-Chapelle.
Aix-la-Chapelle. What an answer. What an answer there by Pat. The 2019 treaty, of course, was the Franco-German cooperation agreement, which Emmanuel Macron and Angela Merkel signed in the city of Aachen. Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Gets Pat on to 13. Jayakanthan, your next question. The tools that came in 4th and 8th in the Forbes list of 20 most important tools ever confirmed an old Bulwer-Lytton adage about the effectiveness of communication over violence. Early versions of the 4th place tool were made from material obtained from geese, swan, or turkey. The Egyptians preferred those made from reeds. Some of the varieties of the 8th place tool are the khanda, the shamsher, the dao, and the cutlass. Need the names of 2 tools.
The pen and the sword.
The pen is mightier than the sword, said Edward Bulwer-Lytton, and that gets you a good 1 point, taking Jayakanthan on to 11. Pat, your 2 questions in this round. With a bleak landscape of 49 towering leafless cedar trees dying in the middle of a lush Madison Square Park in New York City, this artist hopes to draw attention to our detached relationship with nature. Which artist, known for iconic memorials in Washington, D.C. and Montgomery, Alabama, created this installation called Ghost Forest? And second spot?
Maya Lin.
Maya Lin is absolutely correct. This is Maya Lin. The references, of course, being to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. and the Civil Rights Memorial in Montgomery, Alabama. Maya Lin is who we were talking about. At your next question. In 1982, Jack Sapkowski and David Raup identified 5 mass extinction events in a landmark paper. Since then, a 6th extinction event has been added to this list. Also known as the Anthropocene extinction, it refers to the ongoing extinction of species starting at the end of the last glacial period. What is the common name of this event taken from the name of the current geological epoch?
The Holocene?
The Holocene extinction. Fabulous answer there by Pat. Once again, taking him on to 15. Pat slowly running away with the game here. 6 rounds over. It's 15, 11, 9, and 9. 2 rounds still to go. Vinoo, your first question. And it's about biryani. So biryani can be of 2 types, as you know, pakki, that's cooked, and kachi, which is raw. Now in pakki biryani, ingredients are cooked separately about 75% of the way before they're all added together for the final stages. In kachi biryani, however, raw marinated meat is put in layers with pre-soaked rice and allowed to cook. Cooking occurs by steaming from the ingredients' own moisture, and the vessel's lid is sealed with a strip of wheat dough so that steam cannot escape. What 2-word phrase meaning cooking on a slow fire is used to define this style?
Dum cooked.
Dum cooked is absolutely correct. Cooking on a slow fire. Well done, Vinoo. Takes you to 10. And your next question, which franchise has been penalized in 2 of the biggest scandals in recent NFL history? The Spygate in 2007, in which coach Bill Belichick was fined $500,000, the largest fine on a coach in NFL history for illegally videotaping opposing coaches. And Deflategate in 2014, in which their star quarterback was banned for 4 games for ordering deliberate deflation of footballs used in games.
New England Patriots.
New England Patriots, the star quarterback, of course, being Tom Brady. And good 2 directs from Vinoo, taking him to 11 as well. Ujjwal, your first question. Though the male lead Richard Sherman remarks satirically that maybe she is Dash, referring to the actress who played the character, she is only credited as the girl. Which movie is this, whose titular phrase is often used colloquially to refer to a condition that affects many monogamous relationships?
I don't know, the 7-year itch.
This is the 7-year itch. Well done. At one stage, Tom Ewell, I think in the movie, who plays the character, says, yeah, maybe she is Marilyn Monroe, but the name of the character, of course, is the girl. This is the 7-year itch by Billy Wilder, 1955. And your next question. Sorry, yeah. All right. Which city was named Stalingrad from 1925 to 1961 when Nikita Khrushchev renamed it to reduce Stalin's personality cult? This quoted controversy since the name Stalingrad had much significance as a symbol of resistance in World War II. And seconds?
St. Petersburg?
Not St. Petersburg. That was a Jayakanthan.
Volgograd?
Volgograd is
come on. Yeah.
Called Stalingrad. So the siege of Stalingrad is what we were referring to. Good one there. And 12 to Jayakanthan, your 2 directs coming up. Voyager 1 is the furthest man-made object from Earth as of now. On August 25, 2012, it crossed what theoretical boundary to reach interstellar space? This boundary is where the sun's solar wind is stopped by the interstellar medium. In seconds.
I'll say Oort boundary.
Not the Oort cloud or Oort boundary. Ujjwal?
Pass.
Vinoo?
Us.
Pat?
Heliopause.
This is the heliopause. What an answer there by Pat.
Very nice.
Heliopause, or the end of the inspiration, or the influence rather, of the sun, so to say. Great answer there, and that takes Pat on to 16. Jayakanthan, who followed in her parents' footsteps by competing on the British Olympic equestrian team? At the London 2012 Olympics, this granddaughter of the Queen even won a silver medal as a member of the Great Britain equestrian eventing team.
Princess Eugenie.
Not Princess Eugenie. Ujjwal?
Phillips.
Fine. Okay. So if someone wants to give a first name, I mean, you still get points, Ujjwal. It's fine. What's the first name, though?
Zara.
Zara Phillips.
This is Zara Phillips, now Zara Tindall. She's the daughter of Anne, the Princess Royal, and of course, granddaughter of Her Majesty Elizabeth II. But Phillips is fine. Good one there, Ujjwal. Pat, your first question. Which strait connects the Arctic Ocean in the north to the Greenland and Norwegian seas in the south? Centered on the prime meridian, it lies between Greenland and Svalbard and is named after the ship used by an explorer who was also a Nobel Prize laureate. In seconds.
Fram.
Fram is correct. This
Nice.
is the ship used by Fridtjof Nansen, who won the Nobel Prize for Peace, I think, in 1922 or thereabouts, for his work on refugee relocation. Pat, your next question. The cultural impact of which poet on the modern day country he lived in, and not on the country in the same continent his first name spells out, includes a statue in the capital's central square, the highest artistic award of the country named after him, an annual cultural holiday on his death anniversary, which is 8th of February, and of course, one of his poems, Drau Laisha, adapted as the national anthem of the country. And seconds.
Andrich.
Not Ivo Andrich. Vinoo?
No. Pass.
Ujjwal?
Pass.
Jayakanthan?
Pass.
Okay, this passed everyone. First X to Pat there. This is the national poet of Slovenia, whose name is France Prešeren. Right, so Prešeren Day is the Slovenian cultural holiday on the 8th of February. Interestingly, the national anthem of Slovenia, called Drau Laisha, is what is called a Carmen Figuratum. It's a shape poem. The lines are kind of shaped like a glass of wine. It's quite lovely. Do check it out. France Prešeren is who we were talking about. And Vinoo, your last set of directs, we're on round 8. In the first print in the Tokaido series, people are seen leaving the city of Edo, and the print depicts a structure called the Nihonbashi. This structure contains the original kilometer 0 point for Tokyo and today gives its name to the modern business district of the same name. If Nihon refers to Japan, the word Bashi refers to what kind of structure? Monet has also immortalized this type of structure in his work. Monet does appear.
Bridge.
Bridge is correct. Nihon Bashi is simply Japan Bridge. Takes Vinoo on to 12. And your last direct for the evening, Vinoo. In a 1957 novel published in the US as What Mrs. McGillicuddy Saw and part of a literary canon that continues to be widely read, the titular Mrs. McGillicuddy, traveling by the 454 train, witnesses a murder taking place on the 433 train running parallel as a blind in the compartment flies up suddenly. Now, the original English title refers to a different start time for the train, which is in fact a timestamp that never actually appears in the novel, but specifies that the train starts from which station?
Piccadilly.
Not Piccadilly, Ujjwal.
450 from Paddington.
450 from Paddington is the perfect answer, 1957 novel. Good steal there by Ujjwal to move to 12. 3 people on 12. Pat continues to race away with 17. Ujjwal, your last 2 directs. The track Julia is Lennon's ode to his mother to gain whose approval Lennon had started performing initially. Written in Rishikesh, the song begins with the lines, half of what I say is meaningless, but I say it just to reach you. And an obvious reference to a famous line, but I say it so that the other half may reach you. This is from which Lebanese writer's 1924 collection, Stand and Fall?
Gibran.
Khalil Gibran is correct. Prophet, a bunch of other books that are still widely read. Great answer by Ujjwal. Your last direct for the evening. In the 2022 edition of the QS World University Rankings, which is the highest ranking university in Asia? Ranked number 11, its medical school is run in association with Duke University, while it also ran a short-lived liberal arts program with Yale. The School of Public Policy is named for the country's first prime minister. And seconds?
NUS, National University of
That's
Singapore.
correct. NUS, National University of Singapore. The Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, of course, is one of its most well-known institutes. And that takes Ujjwal to 14. Last 4 questions to go. Will there be a change in fortunes? Jayakanthan, your last 2 directs. 4 3-meter-high sculptures curve over the heads of visitors, depicting fragments of a shattered earth, with each sculpture representing a chemical compound that is contributing to climate change. Designed by the architect Daniel Libeskind and installed in the Garden of the Netherlands Paleis Het Loo in Apeldoorn, which hellish landscape from the region inspired both the contents and the title of this installation? Ten seconds.
By the region, you mean Netherlands itself?
Generally.
Okay.
Can you answer? I shall pass you.
I'll say the Schiphol. Schiphol.
Not Schiphol, the airport in Amsterdam. No, Vinoo?
Garden of Earthly Delights.
This is the Garden of Earthly Delights, Hieronymus Bosch.
Nice.
That's a hellish landscape. Absolutely correct there, Vinoo. Well done. Takes you to 13. Jayakanthan, your last direct. Which iconic service started on 4th October 1883 from the Gare de l'Est in Paris to the farewell music of Mozart's Turkish March?
Orient Express.
The Orient Express is absolutely correct. That was 4 trains in Agatha Christie books. The Blue Train, 450 from Paddington, Plymouth Express, and Orient Express, of course. And Pat, this match has been decided, but here's how you finish off with a flourish. In the 2022 edition of the QS World University Rankings, which is the highest ranking Ivy League university at number 3, an urban legend says that it was founded by 2 parents who were not allowed to build a memorial at Harvard University after their Harvard graduate son passed away. In fact, it was founded by a robber baron and the 8th governor of California in memory of their only child who died of typhoid.
Stanford.
Sorry.
Stanford.
Stanford is correct, Pat. Well done. Okay. Sorry, bit of glitch there. But Stanford it is. That's 18 points to you. And gentlemen, we come now to the last question of the evening. Pat Gibson, here's how you finish off with a flourish. The Echoing Green is a 2006 book that centers on the 1951 New York Giants scheme to read opposing catchers' finger signals to the pitcher with a telescope during the 1951 Major League Baseball season. What famous moment in baseball history involving the Giants' Bobby Thompson, and often referred to by a 5-word term, did the scheme of cheating lead to, according to its writer?
Well, the 5-word term might be shot heard round the world.
And that, gentlemen, is the answer heard around the world from Pat Gibson, who reclaims his title. Pat finishes with 19 points, winning season 3 of the FundaesLiga Quiz League. Congratulations, Pat. Incredible, incredible performance.
Well played, everyone.
Finishes with
Great game.
Vinoo, Sanjay, and Jayakanthan are tied for 3rd place with 13 points. What a match it has been. Just 5 unanswered questions, 59 questions answered by this wonderful foursome. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We'll see you for season 4 of the FundaesLiga Quiz League. But before that, do join us for the mid-season flames as we take your leave this evening. Thank you very much once again. Thanks to all the organizers, all my fellow question writers, to all the readers, and to all you participants, and to everyone around the world who's been watching this live stream. Good night and happy quizzing. Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Abhinav. Congrats, Pat. Well played.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay.